Thank you, Ina. So hello, everybody. Thanks to all for being here. This webinar is part of the online training program, Medinea On Air. It's co-founded by Erasmus Plus and produced by 6 partners from Mediterranean region, from France, Italy, Malta, Portugal, Turkey, and Slovenia. Medinea On Air aims to provide specific preparation for classical musicians and improvisers to enrich young musicians' musical training with 38 live interactive webinars led by renowned artists and high qualified pedagogues. Webinars are free and open to all upon registration. So today's webinar is from the address is from performance anxiety to flow in music performance from our professor Katarina HABE, who is going to highlight the importance of psychological skills in gaining performing excellence. The webinar is going to last around 40 minutes. Please feel free to write a question to chat during the webinar. We are going to have probably time for Q&A. So first, let me introduce myself. I'm Nina Podlipnik. I'm coming from International Department of University of Music Academy of Ljubljana. Which Ljubljana is, Academy of Music in Ljubljana is one of the partners in this project, Medinea On Air. So now I'm very glad to welcome our professor, Katarina HABE, from Department of Music Pedagogy, Katarina is a psychologist and musician as well. So Katarina, the floor is yours.
Hello to everyone. I warmly welcome you. I would rather be alive with you, not like this virtually, but hopefully next year we're going to meet in Ljubljana and to have like workshop, real workshop. So today I decided to talk about a topic that is really very actual in all the performers, not just music performers. And we're gonna connect this topic to music audition. So let me start with sharing my presentation with you. And I'm just gonna put it from the beginning. Okay. Hopefully all of you can see my presentation. Just nod me. Okay. So the topic of my presentation is from music performance anxiety to flow in music performers. Everyone who performs faces pre-performance tension. So how well you regulate it, it depends of your personality, of course, your musical skills, musical preparation, on the circumstances you're performing in. So many factors influence your performing outcomes. So we're going to start with a little bit of playing. I always love to play because in playfulness, flow begins, flow happens. So you're going to need something to write down. Just grab a pencil and a paper because you're going to need it even for some other things. I would like you just to imagine which associations pop into your mind if I tell you music audition. If I tell you music audition, which color do you immediately see in your mind? And just write it down. Do not think, just like whoop, what pops into your mind, which color it is. Okay, it's going to be really quick because we don't want to analyze. And I say, music audition, which animal do you see? Let's go further. Music audition, which plant do you see? It can be a tree, it can be a flower, it can be whatever. Which plant do you see? And again, the last one, music audition, Which vehicle do you see? Is it a car? Is it a bike? Is it a train? What kind of vehicle do you see? Why did I start with these associations? Because associations tell us a lot about what kind of attitudes you have towards music audition. Because if I would ask you just to describe me what your feelings are about music auditions, that would be also already analyzing it. But if you go into these playful moments, we connect our thinking more to our right hemisphere, more to our intuitive, creative mind, colorful mind, holistic mind, and we go more into a deep questions, how deep attitudes of how we really experience music audition. So usually when I give such an exercise to musicians about music audition, they say about music audition, that is usually like red or black. If I ask them about an animal, it's a lion or it's a tiger or it's a bull, something big, something a little bit scary. A plant, it's like a huge tree. So more like fearful association come into mind of musicians when they think about music audition. So if we were together alive, I would ask you, just tell me which are your association, and we would see how different your associations about music auditions are. Why is that important? Because our thoughts, driven by our emotion, define our reality. And if our thoughts are negative, if all these associations you gave about music audition were like a little bit scary, fearful, and so on, it's kind of expected that emotions that we're going to connect with music audition are going to be more negative than positive. And all these thoughts connected with our emotions are going to define our reality. So how to create your optimal music audition reality? It would be such a great thing if we would just have like a magic wand and just do it like this, and we could predict our music audition reality. Our reality is that we have to work on it quite hard, because it's not enough to prepare like with your musical skills to be optimally technically prepared, expressively prepared. No, it's not enough. We also need the right psychological skills to deal with all the psychological factors that pop up before we go onto the stage, or before we have an audition. So the structure of today's presentation is going to be, I'm going to talk about conditions for music audition efficacy. I'm going to present relationship between pre-performance tension and music success. Then I'm going to talk about psychological preparation. On one hand, a long-term psychological preparation. On the other hand, short-term psychological preparation, which is going to be in focus of my workshop. Then we're going to address steps of coping with music pre-performance tension, and at the end we're going to try out some of the strategies, some of the basic strategies for regulating somatic, emotional, cognitive symptoms of music pre-performance tension. So let us continue with the question, what is going to be your music audition reality? As I already mentioned, that depends on mainly three categories of factors. And these are pre-audition technical and interpretational preparation. And this is all about your musical competencies. What is going to be in focus of my presentation are pre-audition psychological skills, so psychological competencies. But we also have to talk about all the unpredictable situational factors. And even if we were so skilled, optimally skilled, there are always some factors that we cannot predict. So the main challenge in music performance, not just in music audition, in any kind of performance, is coping with the unknown. Because when we people in any kind of situation are facing the unknown, that usually elicits stress with anxiety reaction. Even though we go into some nice new situation, let's say we are traveling to a new country, but we don't know what kind of culture is going to be there. We may not even know which language, if those people are going to speak our language or not. We don't know, let's say, where we're gonna go the next day. Even in that situation, we feel anxiety, even though we decided that we need new adventures. In music performance, every time we face with these unknown situations. So it's kind of predictable and kind of normal that we feel stressful reactions, anxiety reaction. That means that we feel that our heart is pounding, that our hands are a little bit sweaty, that our breathing can be more shallow. We can see that our body becomes tense, and that is quite normal because of all these question marks that are unpredictable. We never really know what's gonna happen. Good news is that all the psychological skills that we can use as coping strategies for pre-performance tensions can be learned. So this is a good thing. However, challenging news on the other hand is psychological skills have to be trained on a daily basis. And whenever I have a lecture or a workshop for musicians, I see that they expect from me like a recipe how to deal with performance anxiety, like in this moment. Okay, I tell you, do this, and everything is going to be solved. Unfortunately, this story doesn't go like this. With psychological skills, it's just the same story as with musical skills. You have to train them. However, you can use some of like aspirin tools, but this is going to work just for a short while. It's not going to happen for a long time. Before we step into these pre-performance routines and arousal, let me just ask you, how would you rate your pre-performance tension before having an audition on a scale 1 to 100? Let's say, even if you didn't, if you haven't had an audition yet, just imagine that you're going on stage, but the one of you that had already some auditions, let's focus on auditions and imagine how would you rate on scale from 1 to 100 how your pre-performance tension, how high your pre-performance tension is, and just write it down on your paper. You probably did it like this. Usually, in auditions, musicians report, even skilled musicians report like a percentage of pre-performance tension from 60 and up. So this is the reality. And to comfort you, even highly skilled performers that usually don't even experience music performance anxiety report on severe music performance anxiety in music audition circumstances induced either by blind or open jury audition. So as I said, it's kind of normal to be tensed because you're being evaluated, and considering this evaluation, you're gonna get maybe a job position, maybe a good solo in orchestra, maybe you're going to be accepted to an one group, one music group. So it really is a stressful situation for any musician. And what is really comforting that any kind of musician, even top musician, when faced with auditions, they experience quite severe music performance anxiety. So the question here arises, how can we psychologically prepare for a music audition? On one hand, we have long-term preparation, and I would suggest to any musician to start psychologically preparing on long term, not just on a short term basis. So if we talk about long-term psychological self-regulation, we come to meditation, we come to yoga, we come to mindfulness and other techniques such as Tai Chi, body-mind centering, whatever brings your being into well-being on body level, on emotional level, on mind level, on soul level. It's all connected. And there were several studies conducted what happens during meditation, yoga, mindfulness, when you practice it on a long-term basis. You learn how to self-regulate and how to come from beta brain waves, like in one moment, to alpha and even theta brain waves. So that means how to come from mental activation, which is connected with our analytical mind, to a relaxed state, mental state, which is related to our holistical mind, more with our right hemispheric processing. As I've already said, we're gonna focus on a short-term psychological regulation because we can learn how to help ourselves in a moment when we have to go on stage. What is our aspirin that we can use when we go on stage? We can work on different levels, and each one of you has some of the symptoms that are more present before going on stage. Maybe you're experiencing your symptoms more on your body, as I was already saying. Maybe your heart starts pounding more and more fast. Maybe your breathing becomes more shallow. Maybe your muscles, maybe muscles in your throat, maybe muscles in your solar plexus, in where all our fears are usually present, are tensed. and maybe in your shoulders. We can go further from our body. We can feel most of our pre-performance symptoms in our emotions, so that we feel helpless, we feel sad, we feel in anxiety. So all these emotions can pop up before we go on stage. Or maybe all these catastrophizing thoughts can come into your mind. I joke sometimes because I was also playing piano and violin, but especially in violin performances, I was facing music performance anxiety, and I had like a presentation for myself in my head, because I was experiencing a situation when there was an angel on my shoulder, left shoulder, and there was a devil on the right shoulder, and they were talking to each other. The angel said, "Oh, everything is gonna be okay. You practice perfectly and you're gonna play perfectly." But the devil was saying, "Oh, no, no, no. I know you're gonna make a mistake. Just wait. There is a part when you always make a mistake." So instead of focusing on my musical skills, on my musical score, and on this connection with the audience, I was focusing my mind on this show between angel and devil, who were arguing who's going to win. So that was quite a challenging part for me. So it was important for me how to stop my mind not to be occupied with these catastrophizing thoughts. Let me ask you, how is your attitude towards music performance anxiety? Do you accept music performance anxiety as your body? You know, okay, you are here. Let's make friendship and we see what comes out of it. Or on the other hand, do you want to compete with music performance anxiety? Do you think that this is a battle? Usually, musicians and other types of performers experience music performance anxiety as a situation, as an experience that we have to fight against it. And this is a first mistake that we make, because when we fight with something, we give even more energy charge to that feeling. So instead of going through it, going into the flow, we fight with it and we put even more energetic charge into music pre-performance tension. So when we face all these symptoms that I already talked about, it's very important that we accept it. Okay, you are here. Okay, my heart is pounding really, really fast. Oh, I feel tension in my body. Okay, I accept this. So how can I cope with this? What can I do with this energetic charge? Let me present the relationship between pre-performance symptoms and pre-performance anxiety. And this will also comfort you a little bit, because from this graph, you can see that I'm going to show it like this. Okay, that our performance is optimal is highest, our performance efficacy is highest when we face optimal physiological arousal. What does that mean? That means that we have to experience not too low and not too high of physiological arousal. On the other hand, considering cognitive symptoms, the situation is a little bit different. We will be the most successful in our performance when our cognitive symptoms, where our disturbing thoughts are the lowest, and when we experience a lot of cognitive symptoms, where our cognitive symptoms are high, our performance is the less successful. So what does that mean? That means that for optimal performance, when we really want to shine on stage, we need optimal voltage of energy input. So that means that we don't have to be too relaxed. On the other hand, it's not good to be too tense, because we shine on stage whenever we have just the right amount of physiological symptoms, physiological arousal in our organism. So you see, we see on the left side here, if there is not enough voltage, light bulb will not shine. If there is too much of electrical voltage, the light bulb will explode. And when we have just the right amount of electrical voltage, and this is this physiological arousal in our body, we're gonna have the right amount of pre-performance tension to bring the optimal performance on stage. Why do we need this optimal pre-performance arousal? Because this brings us into alert state when we can be more focused, our memory recall is enhanced, and our emotional communication throughout the music and with our audience is optimized. So we actually need the right amount of energy to shine with our music performance. So let me ask you, which are your most disturbing music pre-performance symptoms? Please just write it down whenever we have this pencil and paper. I ask you to write down which are your most disturbing music pre-performance symptoms. I'm gonna give you like a few moments for it. Just write it down. Are these symptoms on your bodily level? Are they on mental level, on emotional level? What usually happens before you go on stage? Where you recognized most disturbing music pre-performance symptoms? Just write it down. Okay, probably you did it. Again, one good news. It's not so much about all these symptoms that you're experiencing. It's more about your interpretation and reaction on them. So on this point, I always tell a funny story that goes like 25 or 30 years in past. because I still remember when I was driving to the airport to pick to meet my boyfriend at that time at the airport, because he was studying in LA, and I was driving and I was experiencing, oh, my body was tensed, my heart was pounding, my palms were sweaty, my breathing was really fast and shallow, and it popped into my mind. Well, I'm actually experiencing anxiety symptoms, and I experienced them from the positive side. Everything that I experienced was positive to me because I was so excited. On the other hand, when I was performing, especially with violin, all these symptoms I interpreted as, oh my God, what's gonna happen? All these symptoms are coming into my body. I'm sure that when I come on stage, these symptoms are gonna affect my performance outcomes, my performance efficacy. And this situation, when I recognize that I'm experiencing the same symptoms in positive situation and in situation that I recognized as threatening, that was musical performance in violin sessions. So it clicked into my mind, well, it's all about my mind. I just have to decide if I'm going to accept this energy, this pre-performance arousal in my body, and interpret it as a helping tool to be more focused, to be more emotionally connected to the audience, or should I accept this pre-performance arousal as something negative? So I trained myself how to change my pre-performance interpretation. And now we're coming to a focus, to the core of our today's lecture or workshop. And I'm gonna train you with some basic skills for body self-regulation, for emotion self-regulation, and for mind self-regulation. So I have to emphasize once more, this is just a little drop in the ocean of everything that exists. But we have to start somewhere. So let's start with body self-regulation. So what can we do when we have music audition and we feel that we are really tensed in our body? I'm gonna first do exercise 1, and then I'm gonna present you also one short exercise, another short exercise. So I would invite you, all of you, just to stand up for a moment. I'm not gonna stand up because I can't, if you wanna see me. And just shake all tensions from your body off. And you can even, I'm going to do it like this, you can even jump. This is such a trivial technique, but it really works. Even in Tai Chi, you have techniques like this to release your body tension as quickly as you can. So just to shake your body already releases the tension in your body. The other technique is to scan your body, to go from your head to your toes, and to scan your body and to experience where is your body mostly tensed? And when you find this core of your tension, let's say that I would be tensed in my shoulders. The one technique that comes from progressive muscle relaxation, but it's really one part of progressive muscle relaxation, is to first tense this part that you are experience most of your body tensions, and then relax. And again, tense and relax. And when you're doing this, the situation of relaxation, the state of relaxation has to be at least twice longer than the phase or state of tension. So your body can get the experience how to feel when it is relaxed. So let's go further on emotions, self-regulations. How to reframe negative to positive emotions, how to come from music performance anxiety to flow. We're going to do one breathing technique considering this. And usually when we want to deal with our emotions, we use a lot of breathing technique. And this breathing technique is named 448. And we're gonna inhale on 4. We're gonna stop our breathing on 4, hold our breath for 4, and then we're gonna exhale on 8. And it's better if you close your eyes, because then your focus is more oriented inwards. So please close your eyes and let your body be like stretched like this. And we're gonna inhale 2, 3, 4, hold breath, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now do a few deep breaths. And now come to this virtual moment, to this place, to this moment, and open your eyes. We already did 2 techniques, one for body, one for our emotion self-regulation, and let us do the last technique. Let us do a technique for mind self-regulation. First technique is going to be just find one spot one point into your eyesight and just stare at that point. Just stare for a moment. Put all the attention into staring to one point. Okay. Why is this technique efficient? Because when we focus our attention to one point, we switch our brain waves from beta state, from this active mind, to alpha state, to relaxed mind. So whenever you are tired, you actually might do this like involuntary. You just do it. This is like a conditioned reaction. You just do it when you want to relax. But you can do also this technique when you want to regulate your mind before going on stage. And many performers do that when they come on stage. When they do a wow, they focus their attention to one point, and that takes just a little moment, and their brain waves shift from beta to alpha, from the active to the relaxed state of mind. And now we're going to do the last exercise. This is really, really fast. We're going to do exercise 3, 2, 1. And why is this VAG there? It's visual, auditive, and kinesthetic. And we're going to switch our focus. First, we're going to switch from one visual point that you will decide to focus on, to the other, to the third one. And I'm going to do like this, and you're going to switch. And then we're going to do the same. You're going to focus on something auditive in your environment. And I'm going to do like this. And you're going to switch to another auditive stimuli. And again, to the third. And then we're going to do 2 again. And then we're going to do also for kinesthetic. That means what's happening in our body. We're going to feel the sensations in our body. And we're going to focus on one sensation in our body, on second sensation in our body, on third sensation in our body. And because we're a little bit running out of time, we're going to just do it 3, okay? 3 VAG. If we were doing the whole exercise, then we will go on 2 visual and 2 auditive and 2 kinesthetic stimuli, and at the end just 1, 1, 1. But let us try with 3, okay? And I'm gonna just regulate it with my stopwatch. Okay. Okay. Let's start. You can choose whichever visual point, whichever auditory sensation you choose. It's important that you focus your attention to this visual stimuli. And then when I say, you switch to another. And when I say to another one. Okay, let's start. So first, just choose one visual stimuli, okay? Switch. Switch. Auditive stimuli. Switch. Switch. Kinesthetic stimuli in our body. Switch. Switch. Finish. This last exercise is actually a mindfulness exercise. It trains us how to be in this moment, how to let go of our thoughts, just to be here and now. So, steps of coping with pre-performance symptoms are, at first point, to be aware what is happening in our body, in our emotions, in our mind. And then the important second step is to accept what is happening, because there were studies that confirm that whenever someone was blocking all these pre-performance symptoms before doing one performance, the symptoms actually pumped up when they started performing. If they accept all these symptoms, they could start coping with them. And for coping, we can use all those skills that we trained just now. And there is a lot of other techniques how to cope with body, emotional, mind symptoms. And last but not least, it's important to let go, to trust that when you did your best and when you coped also with all these psychological matters, you have to trust that you're going to do your best. So to come to flow instead of going towards music performance anxiety, it's important to follow the golden rule of flow. You have to find balance between your skills, and we consider these skills not just musical skills, but also psychological skills, and your challenges. So do not just jump into high music challenges. You have to prepare yourself and to perform a lot before you come to the situation when you really can let go of everything and access flow. And flow is the really most rewarding state for musicians or for every performer, because when we are in flow, that means that we're accessing kind of transcendence in music. we are internally motivated. We are totally absorbed in the music and connected to the audience, connected to your inner self, and feelings of flow are internally enjoyable. So instead of being a victim of music performance anxiety, which is connected to fixed mindset, because we experience music audition in this situation as a threatening situation, instead of that, become a creator of flow in music performance. And that means building your growth mindset. And that doesn't happen like this. It takes time. You just have to start somewhere. And if you start today, you're going to be better already tomorrow. Thank you for your attention. As I already said, a little drop in the ocean, but hopefully this drop will guide you to explore even more on this field that really offers a lot of studies, a lot of techniques, and hopefully you're going to be able to access flow as often as you can in music performance.
Thank you, Katarina, for this inspiring lecture. So are there any questions? Because we are very short on time, of course. If not, you can send some questions by email. I do. Okay. I don't know what that means. Yeah, okay. So the next session is coming up, so we have to really finish. And the next session is dedicated to audition and competition for brass sections. And we also planned some other second Medinea On Air planned sessions on December 22. So please follow the Medinea on social networks and subscribe. And thank you all for joining, and especially to Katarina.
Thank you all for being here. All the best. I'm gonna say goodbye now, and hopefully we meet next year in Ljubljana. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.